Let's go ahead and bring in Steiner Sports CEO, Brandon Steiner.
One of the country's top memorabilia mogul.
I have an unbelievable guest, Brandon Steiner.
Brandon's second to none.
Well, first of all,
I
just want to make sure that we understand that we got Eli right here. I got the Super Bowl trophy signed by Eli, just in respect for my boy. Love him. And, so I'm happy to watch Eli wherever he is. If he's not playing, I'm going to watch him. Just that's how much I love him. And my thoughts are with him always. Fierce competitor, just totally committed to his craft. And that's why he's got 2 of these babies. And hopefully another one coming in his future as well. Okay, Eli, we miss you, man. We're thinking about you. Just want you to know that. And just rubbing this for good luck for you. Okay. Questions, anything, whatever you got on your mind today, entrepreneur questions. If you want to get on the show, you want to talk, please email in or your Facebook and your phone number. We'll get right to you.
So far, out of the 40 people in here, like 20 messages already on the Eli thing, asking what you think about what's going on. Do you think that it's probably been super tough for him having to have played for the past 12, 13 years every single week to now just show up one day and they tell him that it's sort of over?
Here's the thing about the Eli thing. Unless you're in the middle of that situation and understand what it's like from ownership, coaches, players. Remember, no matter how flat the pancake is, a pancake has 2 sides. And I feel that way with most stories, including this one. And as much as I feel for Eli, and I know that he's a competitor, wants to play, in my heart of all hearts, I think it's like a blessing at this particular point. Why play on a team that isn't competing right now and risk injury and the wear and tear, especially at this particular point, and not maybe reset, take a breath, take a break in a crazy, brutal, ferocious game that football is. You take a step back, you take a breath, maybe you get some of the younger kids in there and deal with that. Not the worst thing in the world. I know that he's been a warrior and consistent, and frankly, I just want whatever he wants. So if he wants to play, then I'm happy to want him to play. But the fact that he isn't playing, in my mind, is going to be a great reset for him and probably will extend his career longer, because a lot of athletes have come to me after their careers are over and have said that because of a break, an injury, or something had happened, it extended their careers. And a lot of athletes have come to me. I remember Allen Houston came to me. He was playing in those Olympics in the summer, a lot of NBA playoff games, and he said if he was able to take a sabbatical, he probably could have played 2-3 years longer. And I think when you take a break like this and you're able to rest and kind of reset, which will now have a little bit of an extended time. I don't know if people realize how hard somebody like an Eli Manning works all year round at his craft. And to even get these few months extra off may be a blessing, actually. I hope it is anyway. That's how I look at it. But, I hate to see somebody who's been a credible friend to Steiner be in any kind of pain. So, again, I don't really know the whole story. None of us do, unless you're on the inside of that locker room, to really understand the thinking behind all this stuff that goes on a football team. But hopefully it's for the better for Eli that maybe he takes a little break. I'm hoping.
A couple people are asking, do you see Eli sort of pulling a Peyton Manning Part 2 and going to Denver?
I have no idea. I just hope whatever happens for him is the best. He's such a great character, great quarterback, great person, been a great team person, clutch, committed, and I just want the best. But I don't get inside of all that. The football is a complicated sport to play. It's a complicated sport to manage and own. There's a lot of stuff that goes into these decisions that, listen, I have a lot of faith in the Giants. I'll take my franchise. I'm a Giants fan. I love them. They've made the right decisions. Things happen that don't always come off the right way, or at least appears to be. But you're always going to have some downward slopes in business and with teams. And my faith is with the Giants. I think their ownership has proven that. Their commitment to the consistency, the amount of playoff, Super Bowl wins. You get emotional, and that's what being a fan is all about. You want your team to always win, but part of the winning is losing to and having a downward year. And I have faith. I have faith in Eli. I have faith in the Giant ownership, who's been extremely consistent about their brand, consistent about what their that organization is about, how they go about their business, the kind of players they tend to keep and hold on to. I have no problem. You have a down year, it happens, and think that, I'm kind of excited about the draft picks. Unfortunately, you have a losing season like this, you end up at almost 2 number 1 picks. If you end up in a 1, 2, or 3 situation, you're almost getting 2 number 1 picks and almost 2 number 2 picks, and that will help them. That should give them a boost for some next few years. So maybe you suffer a little bit, but then you go get the draft picks. Hopefully they're aggressive again, making a couple good moves in the offseason, and you're right back on track. That's how fast things can change in sports. The Giants are extremely well run. No need to panic. A couple other questions. We're moving off the Eli thing, but that's all I got. I really don't pry into these things, and my main thing is I just want Eli to be happy and healthy and the best for him. And I'm a Giants fan like everybody else, and I want that team to win. I mean, of course. So, it's always a little frustrating, but I have faith more than fear. You can't have faith and fear at the same time. So if you believe in your team, which is no reason not to, that there's been a lot of good stuff that's gone on with the Giants, superstar-wise, Hall of Fame-wise, and Super Bowl-wise. There's no reason why you should move away from having faith and not get into a fear mode with this team. They'll figure it out.
We're going to begin a couple of business questions.
Couple of business questions. If you got anything, like and share this. By the way, have you guys read my blog at all? I've noticed I've been going through the analytics on my blog, and I'm noticing that there's a bunch of people that are registered to the blog but not reading it. So if you're out there, I'd love to get some feedback. If you like the blog, don't like the blog, what you'd like to see more of, what some of your favorite blogs are, because there's been some good interviews, some good posts, and if there hasn't been, I'd like to hear about it.
So Will Knight was wondering, generally in business, is it better to focus on one passion or to try multiple interests just to see how things pan out?
With one idea or
focus on one industry or one sort of topic, and then or try a little bit of everything.
Well, I'm assuming, Will, you're younger, maybe in college or just getting out, but I think it's just important to really understand one aspect of business and try to be good at it, whether it be accounting, marketing, promotion, PR, advertising. Try to find something that you think is interesting to you and see if you can be really good at it. And then once you become really good at it, then you can kind of get a little wider spread. I think it's important to try a few different things, but if you're trying something and you like it, go as far as you can and be as good as you can at it. Especially when you're younger, you have an opportunity to flip-flop and try some different things, and you should. But it's hard to be really, really good at multiple things at one time. That's why, in sports, they put you at one position. Believe me, very few baseball players couldn't play all 9 positions. Very few football players couldn't play multiple amount of positions, but you stay at one position that you think you could be the best at. Doesn't mean at some point maybe you switch and change, but generally speaking, it's good to kind of focus in and lock in on one thing and see if you can become really good and ultimately become great at it.
James Bennett wanted to know, what do you think is the best way to promote a new business or a startup? He said he just is starting out now, and word of mouth is helping him big time with new customers, but what other techniques or strategies would you use?
I think if you're trying to promote something new, the best thing you could do is can't focus enough on your quality and your brand and then the existing business you have, and trying to get that business more motivated and excited to pass on the good news, the goodwill to their friends. Building that core and being everywhere when you first start out is not necessarily the best thing. Being where you're supposed to be, which is customers that are happy, and really focusing on them and getting them to spread the word for you, is the right track, which you seem to be on. I think with social media, it's really important to focus on what you do best when you're coming up with something new. Really try to extract the best out of the best. What is it that's really the best? I remember being at the Hard Rock, and I wanted to expand the menu back in 1984. We had a very, very small menu, and I went to the owner and I said, I think we should add some stuff on. And he said, I think we should just concentrate on the menu we have and taking the things that are on that menu that are really good and making them even better. And we spent like 3 months on the French fries that we served with the burger. We tested so many French fries just because we were so busy. The fries, we wanted fries that were going to hold up the heat, so when they got to the table, they'd still be hot and crispy. And I think there's something to be said about Apple, McDonald's, some of these companies, Starbucks, that don't do a whole lot, and the few things they do, they're great at it. I'm a big fan of it. I'm kind of learning that the hard way myself here at Steiner as we start to get a little bit smaller over the last 4 or 5 years in order to really do what we do well better.
We're getting tons of questions, and I think we have a caller coming in.
Take one more question, we'll do the caller.
So one more question is,
We're talking at Project X's Brandon Steiner. Thank you for joining. If you do have a question, please Facebook in or Twitter in or Instagram in. And by the way, are you on my blog? Are you listening or to the pods? Make sure you go to brandonsteiner.com and register for the blog. And listen, it's Christmas time. I'm allowed to ask for something. Pass it on to a friend or pass it on the blog and the pod to somebody you know needs a little bit of the motivation, inspiration that we're spreading around these days. Would be grateful and appreciative if you did that.
So, quick question before we take our first call.
A lot of students taking finals right now. I wonder if they're live with me right now. They're studying. You're not studying right now. You know, you're sitting there looking at your book.
Yeah, it looks like we got a lot of college kids in here.
A lot of college kids.
They're breaking the rules.
I've been hearing from a lot of you out there, and I love hearing from you. I love what I'm seeing right now in college and high schools. Such inspiration and motivation. I haven't seen this kind of smarts in a long time where curiosity. So many college kids are LinkedIn messaging me and Facebook messaging me questions about business. It's nice to see it.
Going off that, Matt Supovitz was wondering what aspects of a good employee or business person that you would look for in an asset to Steiner Sports.
I think it's simple. Energy. You know, what's the energy you bring in every day and the consistency of that energy and your flexibility. I always say faithful, available, teachable. That. Faithful. Do you believe in the company? Are you available? Are you flexible? Are you just saying that? Are you really willing to stay late? Are you really willing to come in on a weekend? Are you willing to inconvenience yourself? And are you teachable? Do you realize how little you know and you want to learn more? Are you curious? I think when you get those three ingredients combined with energy, you know, you could work here. I mean, that's what we're looking for. High energy, faithful, available, and teachable.
And now I think we got a call coming in.
All right.
So our first call is from Rakesh. He's got a new product. It's a football live board game that he's going to tell you about.
All right, let's get it up on the website so we understand what it's called. What's the product called again?
It's football live, but Rakesh.
Football live. And what's the name?
Rakesh. Brandon Rakesh here.
Where are you, Rakesh?
I'm in California, Brandon. How are you?
How you doing? You're in school still, or you graduated, or where are you?
No, I finished my master's and I work for a corporate company in California.
A coffee company?
Corporate company.
A corporate
I
company.
work for a corporate.
Cool.
Yep.
Now, was the master's degree worth it? I'm always curious when I talk to people to go get their MBAs and their masters. Like, was it worth it?
Yeah, I mean, according to me, you know, I had a lot of networking, a lot of connections from my school, so which helped me, and I got like so many entrepreneurs in the same group. So we had on and off chats, like, you know, who's doing what.
Yeah.
So that keeps me going.
Where in California?
I did my master's in Chicago.
Oh.
I'm located in Los Angeles, in California right now.
As in, like, University of Chicago?
No, I went to Argosy University in Chicago.
Okay, cool. So let's talk about your football. Let's talk about that. It's a live board game. It's a live board game. How's it work? I got it up on my phone here.
Okay, wonderful. So yeah, before getting into that, I just want to say I just love your dedication and passion, and it's definitely a pleasure talking to you. So
well, thank you. I appreciate it. I love your passion and dedication. I love the entrepreneur spirit, especially when it's in the infantile stages, when sometimes you don't get the love and just some inspiration or just some insight of how to get from point A to B. I think it's necessary, and I enjoy if I can add to something to someone like yourself or someone out there that is trying to get going. I have a tremendous amount of respect. I think it's courageous to try to do something that hasn't been done, and good for you. And thank you for calling. Thank you. So anyway, tell us about your board game.
Yeah, so this is a product which I launched. I've been prototyping this game from the past 2 years, and I've self-funded, and I launched this game last year. The concept, the board game is called Live Board Game. So Live Board Game is a theme. There are different versions to it, like Live Board Game Football, Live Board Game Baseball, Live Board Game Basketball, Cricket, like different versions to it.
Okay.
So basically, the game is, it's imagine like you, many of us are the big sports fans.
Well, first of all, what's the website? If anybody out there wants to go click it on real quick, is it on a website?
Yeah, it's liveboardgame.com.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm on Instagram and Facebook and as well as Twitter.
So now, what's the challenge here of this game? I guess that's kind of the core of the game here, because I see the game on my screen. It's a board game, but what's the challenge of it? Let's take football, for example, since we're in football season.
Yep. It's a physical board game. So, like, imagine you just host a viewing party, like the sports viewing party, to watch a big game on TV, right? So, and you invite all your friends and guests to come home and watch a game. You know, you are a huge fan, you watch the game, you cheer, but some of your friends might be getting bored. They're, probably watching the clock and waiting for the game to end. So, let's face it, some people don't like to watch sports. So would it be more fun if all your friends could enjoy the party and get in like a real action? So I came up with this concept where I thought like, okay, let me come up with a board game where I can entertain my guests. I can enjoy the game as well as, everybody get, more fun. People have more fun watching the game and playing the game. So this is basically you predict the play and you play on the board.
Well, I see. I'm watching a video here. So you've got the board out, and how do you win the game? Is it are you playing off of dice with the cards? Like I used to play as a kid, APBA. If any of my Brooklyn friends are out there, don't phone in. Don't need to hear from you. But there's nothing like APBA, by the way. I mean, it's nothing like Stratomatic Baseball, one of the great board games. If anybody is out there, I mean, I would still love to go play some Stratomatic. So realistic. APBA was very realistic. Have you ever watched that, followed that game? Have you looked that up? Compared your game to that? You should. But anyway, it's a very good game. It's a board game. But so I'm watching the video, and so I see you've got this live. I see what you. I'm just watching this unfold. If you're out there, if you can watch the video, it really explains this well.
Yeah,
for
so
the snap.
This is like the live board game. You're playing the game, watching live on TV. So
okay, so it doesn't matter what game. It doesn't matter what game you're watching. It just matters that you're watching a game.
Yep, exactly. You're watching a particular game, and the version of that game is like football. Say football, you're watching a live game, and you're making the predictions as the next move. You know the player strategies, you know the game strategy, so you predict the next move and place your chips on a particular.
So if I guess the play, what happens? Then I'm moving the ball differently than the actual ball's getting moved in the game.
No, so you are predicting the next play. So if the quarterback is starting at like 40 and it's going to be a touchdown, so you place your bet on the touchdown, and I do like one shot of touchdown, probably like 90 yards, and you win. So you get all the loser chips. So there are like 5 players. Whoever is predicting the right move, all the loser chips goes to the winner.
I love that, man, because I got to tell you, the games have been just so boring.
It would entertain some people.
This is like entertaining. So there's a little gambling in here, too. You can use real money if you wanted to.
Yeah, exactly. So basically, I came up with the concept. Many folks ask me, like, hey, how did you come up with this concept? Like, do you want people to gamble? So my major intention was to get family and friends together. When you're watching a game, I don't want the dad to watch in a different room and the son to watch in a different room. So I wanted everybody to sit at one place and watch the game, enjoy the game, and have a little bit fun playing the board game as well.
Well, have a little fun gambling. Because you're gambling. I mean, let's call it what it is. But listen, most people that are watching sports today, not all, but a lot of people, I should say, watching sports, it's because they got the spread, or they've gambled, or they've got their sheet, or right. So there's just another more active way, right at the point of attack, where everybody puts in a few dollars, gets some chips, and you see if you can guess what's up. That's pretty cool. Like that.
Yep, and Thank you. And I did get some feedback from a few customers. They literally said, like, hey, you know what, we love the game. And basically most of them are like my customers are in 30s. So they always send me back and like, hey, we try to, play with money. And I'm said like, okay, that's the other side of the game as well. So if it works, it works.
I'm giving you a tap on my owl. I think it's a bright idea. I'm giving you the tap on the owl. I'm feeling you. Love this idea. Let me ask you something. How are you on sales? How's this idea coming along? Are you in any stores selling this game? Because it seems like you got it packaged and everything else, right?
Yep. So I'm already selling it on Amazon right now. So I'm selling through Amazon. I've made I launched last year in December, and I made like 50 sales, and this year, and I made another 150. So I'm closing close to 200 board games. I sold almost like 200 board games until now.
Okay.
So my market is based. This is a seasonal based product, like football for a particular season starts in October, November, December, January until Super Bowl, and after that you have a break for another 6 months. So,
how many sports do you have? How many sports have you done this with?
So right now, I self-funded and launched a football version for U.S. market. I'm planning to launch soccer and cricket for India, UK model, and soccer for across the globe as well. So
how many games do you have in inventory?
1,400 for football version right now.
All right, so you're committed. You want to make this happen,
Yep.
but you're only selling it on Amazon. That's it.
Yeah, right now I'm selling it on Amazon. I reached out to a few folks like Target and Walmart and other folks as well. Some of them are waiting to license my product. Like I reached out to a few of companies like the board game manufacturing companies. So it's still under validation. So I asked them for more I wanted to reach out to more people because I self-funded. I had only limited budget to fund this project. So if a company, manufacturing company.
Are you out of money?
Licenses.
Are you out of money, or you still have a little money left?
I have still money left, and I'm getting whatever I invested, I'm getting back right now. Not most of it, but at least 200.
All right, let me help you spend a little bit of money here. Let me tell you a couple of things I think of. By the way, I really like this idea. I mean, just because, especially now, I've been so freaking bored with watching these games, and I could see taking this out, and then I definitely predict all the plays. I mean, we're all coaches. I mean, there's nobody watching anymore that doesn't think that they're a coach and what the play that should get run. I mean, you're all out there watching. You know what I'm talking about. But first of all, here's one thing I would do, especially in today's world. You could do a quick video with you and your friends. Is number one, a real video where you're actually showcasing with chips and the gambling part of it a little bit. And I would definitely put that online, and I'd go boost that to people that are avid specific fans. So let's say if you're out in LA and you got the Rams or the Chargers or whatever, I would actually try it. I always say sample small, dream big, fail quick. So follow me.
Yep.
What I would say is do a short video, nice little 30-second video. Maybe you even buy some cable TV that could run inexpensively, possibly out there in a local cable. But when you buy cable, you got the local and then you got the national. So sometimes you could pick up a local ad that will run in an actual football game for not a lot of money and just see if you get a return on an 800 number, which could be your home phone number, by the way, or go to Amazon. So you say, listen, either if Amazon's got the exclusive, then just say, look, you could pick this game up and you turn your football game with your friends into a party and also into fun. It's like a night. It's an afternoon with your friends. It's almost like playing cards. So I like the idea of doing a video. I also like the idea of sampling small. So I love the idea if you can go and take a quick commercial, and it's so easy to do these now, and just run it locally on your cable. And a lot of times you could pick up cable spots for 100 or 200 a clip, and you're just sampling it. Maybe you're going to drop maybe $2,000 to $5,000 over a weekend just to see if, some college games, some pro games, if anybody bites and says that. The other thing is you got to have your Facebook alive and well, and the people that are playing, you need their feedback. You need to incentivize them as to what they like about the game, to put up videos of them playing the game so people can actually get connected, and you can put that up on Amazon. So anybody who's bought the game, reach out to them, ask them what they think of it, and incentivize them by giving them prizes. It could be a Steiner autographed item, just saying. I mean, brother's got to make a living too here. But I'm just saying we have autographed product. But you can go, tickets to a game, whatever. You got to be careful. There are some rights with giving away tickets. But if you're doing some light promos on social, just to incentivize people to give you feedback and to give you video footage of them playing the game and why this is a cool game, you can create a little bit of a surge there and have something to work with. That's my first initial thought right away is sample. Go see where there's a market to be tapped into to get to this football fan on a Sunday. The good news is it's no surprise where these people are on a Saturday and Sunday and a Monday night. They're watching the games. So tap into that. On Facebook, you can find avid, crazy football fans that are in a particular sport. And I would try to focus in on a particular team initially. This way you make all your ads and promotions and advertising geared towards, let's say, Ram fans, let's say if you're out in L.A., or Raider fans if you're in San Francisco, and make it a Raider type of feeling commercial. Raider fans get around, they predict, they watch Raider games and they play this game. You make this almost like it's a game, and it's kind of based on either the Raiders or USC, or it's a bowl game. And I think you go sample and play around with that $5,000 or $10,000 and see if that brings you any return. And then you can see if you want to go start doing some advertorial type commercials, which maybe are a minute or 2 minutes long, that you're running at night, where sports fans are generally up at night a little later on after watching a game. You can run those spots, and then you see kind of it drive some sales for you. That's what I would suggest.
Wonderful. Great feedback. Thank you so much.
We have a couple questions for you. We'll take a couple questions from some people on Facebook. Go ahead.
So,
Rakesh, you did a good job with this, brother. I like
you.
this idea because you know why? You solved the problem. It's a little boring sitting there watching a whole football game with a bunch of your friends and doing nothing else. Let's admit it. Now, assuming you're going to drink some beer, eat some guacamole, it's still, I don't know. I don't think I could sit there and watch one game. I need the red zone and 3 other games. I don't know how everybody out there feels, but, I mean, is anybody out there just sitting there watching one game and you're cool? I need to watch like 5 games to be filled up. My plate needs to have like 5 games on at the same time. So I love the red zone, but I feel like I need more going on. This actually solves a problem to me. It gives me some more to do. We all think we're coaches. We all think we're quarterbacks, and then we get to, kind of bet on that in a sense with some of our friends, win some money, and have some fun. And now every play becomes important.
So Dave Blair wanted to know if he got funding, if how he started the company. Did he get investors, or where did most of his funding come from?
Rakesh, how did you get the funding for this? You said you got some funding, and some of that money's already coming back, but how did you get the funding? All right, we lost him. We're going to get him back. Love that game. What was the website again? Let's give that.
Liveboardgame.com.
Which is a cool website name. This guy, listen, I've always been a little wobbly about the graduate student. This guy actually earned his degree. Liveboardgames.com is a cool, easy .com to remember.
We got him back.
All right, we got him back. Rakesh, how did you get your funding? How'd the money come? You knew some friends? You went to a bank? How'd it work?
Yeah, I've just self-funded my first project. So basically, I had some savings, and my parents chipped in some money as well.
So you had balls. You put your own money on yourself.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Love it. You know something. Make sure you Facebook me. Did you get a copy of my book? You got to have balls.
No, not yet. So
I'm sending you a copy. No, I'm sending you a copy. You got balls. I got to send you a copy of that. So I'm gonna sign a copy. Got one right there for you. I'm gonna send it to you. Just Facebook in your address. Keep in touch. Want to know how this game is doing? I really want to see you not only sample but also some keyword searches. You can go do some advertising on the NFL site. You can go get to some NFL fans. Are you doing that already?
Yeah, I'm currently doing on Facebook marketing. I have some digital marketing background as well, so I do my Facebook marketing. Amazon campaigns.
I like that. A lot of people think that by getting on Amazon, they've got to the promised land, but it's just the beginning. The objective isn't to get on Amazon. You have to activate Amazon. Amazon is a platform, but you got to then push people to Amazon. They're happy to carry and ship and sell your product, but you got to help them sell it. They don't just doesn't sell itself for the most part.
Yeah,
I think that's a misunderstanding a lot of people have. I think you've done a good job on this, but don't be afraid to get aggressive with your SEO campaign as far as maybe attacking some different football type of sites and football platforms. And there's a ton of them out there, a ton, that you can kind of get on board and get on board, literally and figuratively, and kind of attack, just getting the word out there about this game. So you're taking an ordinary afternoon and making it into an extraordinary afternoon because your board game live makes every afternoon exciting. It's a great way to share an afternoon with your friends, watching the game and then playing the game, right?
Yep.
That should be a mantra. Watch the game and play the game live. I love it. That should be your new tagline. I love that. Hey, take care of yourself. I'll send you a book, my friend. Good luck.
Thank you so much, Brandon.
Keep the questions coming. We love hearing from you. Like and share this. And by the way, I'm at 430,000 on my blog. I want to get to 500,000. I'm not going to lie. So if you like the blog and so forth, please make sure you send out a link to get a friend or a brother or somebody who wants to jump in on the party. I want to get to over 500,000. And I would appreciate that if you could just share, like, and keep your questions coming. That was a good idea. Good one.
I think we
couple other questions.
Yeah, we got a couple questions. A couple people putting in their numbers who we'll try and get to as well.
Ben, let's keep the phone calls coming. Let's rifle through them. Let's get the next one. Meantime, we'll do a couple calls. We'll get some calls on there. Go ahead.
Yep. Another question: when you find a player that has potential, what's the best way to sort of get exposure for them and get them available in the marketing space to sort of use their name to brand out?
I mean, I think, listen, when you're talking when Steiner's trying to connect with a player, and by the way, I mean, I was going to say this to Rakesh, even with his live board game, it would be amazing if he took a retired player that would really pop, and maybe he gave up a couple points in that game, and maybe got a retired player to go promote that game. I'm a big fan of that. I'm a little biased, but these days there's a lot of, especially with football, is a good starting point. You can get a retired player, maybe take an interest, maybe even makes an investment, and you partner up. Rakesh, if you're still out there, I love that idea. I'm happy to help you with that idea. But for it's difficult. I mean, there's a lot of players, a lot of teams, a lot of sports. I think having a great player to really help you market your product starts with a player being great. And he needs to be great on the field and great off the field and be schooled and understand a little bit how business works. The good news is that a lot more players available that are like that now than ever. I got in this business 30 years ago. We had to go deep, high, and far to find somebody who was media trained, understood a little bit about business, at the same time was a good player on the field. But I think it's really important if you can find a player that actually likes your product or connects with your product in an authentic way because his kids use it, his wife uses it, he uses it, or she uses it. I think it's a big help. And that's where the work comes in, because there's nothing better than working with a celebrity that actually likes it and really enjoys your product. It's easy for them to talk about it. You don't have to do much media training with them. They just talk about the experience, and it's very convincing. I think also you got to consider, time, money, and what kind of customer base you're trying to attract. Who is your customer, and does the athlete and celebrity you're trying to get match up to that customer? I think a lot of companies miss that and just go for sheer popularity, and it's a mistake that a lot of companies make.
We got more questions coming in. This one from Jason Bauman, and he said, how did you start your company? Did you have some signed items and have a storefront? You don't see other companies have players coming in like you do at Steiner.
Jason, I'm not answering the question because you should just read the book. You got to have balls, outlines, everything. And it's a complicated answer. It's a good question you ask, and it's 30 years worth of work, but it really is 50 years because it started for me when I was 10. And because I like you and I appreciate you asking that question, if you Facebook in your address, I'll mail you a copy of the book. Take a look on BrandonSteiner.com. You'll see some of the info and really that answers that question of how we've built up what we built here at Steiner. But thanks for asking that question.
And probably another one covered in the book, but Travis Jordan asked, he said he's a fellow Yankees fan, and he sat on George Steinbrenner's lap when he was 5, and he signed an autograph for him. What is one of your favorite Yankee memories, whether in business or in your personal life? And
I think it was one of my, so many favorite memories, but even being in George's suite, watching games back in the owner's suite in the old stadium, Billy Rose, who was a limited partner, who I worked for at that time, would take me up there, and I would always sit at George's desk. And I was just a big George Steinbrenner fan. Loved him. Loved the way he went about the business. Was so intense, so focused. And he'd always come into his office because his office kind of led to, you kind of almost the outside, you can watch the game almost from his office. But he would always kind of give me a hard time. Like, aren't you going to watch the game? I was like, George, I got to make money. And I'm calling everybody I know and telling them I'm sitting at your desk. So, but it was kind of fun. I was able to do that a bunch of times. And, there's so many great Yankee memories, but certainly another one was, my son of the World Series in 1998. Tino hitting the Grand Slam, and that was just a great night, electric. That team was electric, and it was just a lot of fun that whole year going to Yankee games.
And one more before we get another call in is from Glenn Robert, who said, any favorite athletes that you've been able to work with over all the years, and any that you haven't worked with that you would love to?
So many. I mean, so many great athletes that we've been really blessed to be able to work with, and it's really unfair to pick one over the other. Certainly my guy Eli. Love him. One of my favorites. And I'm not just saying it just because he's in the news this week, but he's really, truly 100% all class. Just great to the fans, great to the employees here, just so respectful, just a huge fan of his. And he's certainly one of my favorites in every sense of the word. If you asked me that a year ago, I would have said the same thing. The other favorite, I always say this, is Mark Messier. Learned a lot from Mark. Hard work, great teammate, leadership, motivation, but also a smart business person, very bright. Don't want to get caught up in a corner with him when I was playing. He was just tough, rugged, just the kind of player that I wished I could have been. If I was a hockey player, just tough, rugged, but also can get very, very, very nimble and very just electrifying as far as being a goal scorer or a passer, but could rough him up in the corners and just was a great teammate. Hard to be just an incredible, just all-in guy, but then always thinking of everybody else on the team. He's one of my favorites, Mark. Learned a lot about leadership and really just enjoyed those bunch of years he was here with the Rangers.
I think we got a call coming in.
Okay, so this is a unique one. This is from Vipul Gupta, and he's actually a father. He has 2 kids. One is Ashika. It's his daughter, who's 13 years old.
Can't hear you.
Hello?
I can't hear you. Go ahead.
So his daughter Ashika is 13 years old, and his son Zadant is 11 years old. And they're 2 aspiring entrepreneurs that have some questions
Cool.
for you.
We got kids that are entrepreneurs. Hello.
Yeah, hi Brandon, how are you?
How are you? What's your name and where you from?
So, we're from the Flint, Michigan area. My name is Vipul, V-I-P-U-L.
Vipul.
And I have a 11-year-old son in 6th grade. His name is Vedant. Say hi, Vedant. Hello.
Aren't you
And then
supposed
my
to be in
daughter,
school?
Ishika, she's 13 in 8th grade. Say hi.
Hi.
Wow, there's no lack of creativity in those names. So,
Yeah, Indian names. So,
okay,
you know,
all right,
they're
cool,
Indian.
cool.
And, you know, to give you some background, like I have a tourism marketing corporation, so over the last 15 years, I kind of started from scratch, and I've done a lot with sports teams, primarily regionally here in the Michigan area, so all the pro sports teams as well as national partners, everyone from Macy's to Disney to studios. And basically, my mom has been a travel agent, so I grew up as part of a tourism company, and I kind of combined the love of sports and marketing with that, and I formed a lot of creative promotions and worked with my airlines, hotels, and all. So through that, I developed a lot of skills in networking and proactively making calls and creating partnerships and creating promotions. And so now, being a parent, I've kind of passed this on to my kids that, you know, who tells you you have to sit there and learn one subject 1 year at a time, and that you have to follow a certain rule of only being able to progress and not doing entrepreneurship till you're 20 or 30. You know, start when you're young, because there's a lot of amazing kids out there that start when they're 5 or 6. And so, you know, Ishika and Vedant can tell you their backgrounds a little bit more, but they've both done some amazing things.
Well, let's hear it. Ishika is in 8th grade, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So what are you up to? Talk to me. What's your story?
So basically last year in 7th grade, I was given the amazing opportunity to write a 30-page business plan and present it. And my idea was basically what my dad just said, to help kids get ahead. Because at school you're given a book and you have to go 1 year at a time. And I believe that kids should be exposed to the opportunity to have more materials, because there's not just one resource out there, there's many resources. So just to help motivate kids to their full potential and give them the resources that they need to get ahead.
Wow. So how does one get involved with this process? Are you online? Is there a website? How do you pick up these books?
It was just an idea that I had, but it was basically a course that they would follow about entrepreneurship courses and leadership.
Love that. Oh, so this is the concept you came up with, and you wrote a business plan about it, and it's probably a book that's probably good for kids anywhere from grades 1 to probably the end of high school, almost, right?
Yeah. So I was given the opportunity to write it because I was put in a business class with 11th and 12th graders, an entrepreneurship class, when I was in 7th grade. So we basically had a virtual company where we had the CEO, the COO, and the CFO, and I interviewed to be one of the 3 executives, and I got the part of the CFO, so I oversaw the financials of the company, and I got to manage 11th and 12th graders, and that was just an amazing opportunity.
I love
And
that.
actually, Brandon, she got that opportunity because of doing self-paced learning. So what she's done is a lot of online learning. So she's basically gotten 4 years ahead in math, because instead of doing like 1 year at a time, she's pretty much done 2 years at a time.
Yeah, I
each
get
of the
that.
last 3 years. And so
Yeah,
because she got
why
ahead
wait
in
for everyone
math,
else?
They give her an opportunity to be an entrepreneurship class, and
It was
that's where
one
she
of-
worked with 11th and 12th graders, and then
Yeah.
wrote this amazing business plan on her own and presented it at a conference.
It's one of my son's biggest complaint, is sitting around waiting for everybody else to catch up to him. It's very frustrating for some of the people that are blessed to be a little bit smarter or just be able to catch on a little quicker. So I like that idea where kids can kind of move on their own pace and not make the other kids feel uncomfortable. I'm just curious, just one quick question. What did you learn about that CFO role? What was the one thing that stuck out in your mind as you took on that role in high school?
Well, I'd say the biggest thing is that you might think going into a company and being a CFO is easy because you're like seeing all the financials and you're just seeing all the work, but it's not. You're actually having to look over all of the numbers and having to crunch some numbers. And the biggest part, that's the hardest part, is managing the people in the company, because most of the time someone might come in and have a gloomy mood, and that'll set the whole company to a bad mood, and people will all be like sad and everything. So you have to know how to motivate them and put them in that happy mood.
All right. Well, thank you. Now, your brother?
Yeah. Hello?
How you doing? Now, what were you up to? It's Vidam? How do you pronounce your name?
Vedant.
Vidam?
Yeah.
What were you up to? Now, you're a little younger, I assume. You're at 6th grade, so that's kind of when it all got started for me, so I'm not giving you any bit of a break. I have high expectation for you. You should be already killing it, especially you have an older sister that seems like she's on the ball. Your dad's been a good example. Now, where are you at? What are you bringing to the table? How are you helping support that family?
I started this business idea when I was in 4th grade. So at that time, I was in India, and I was visiting my cousin.
Yeah.
And in his room, I saw this motivational poem. And when I read it, I said to myself, I need to go to my high school and read that. And the reason for that is because normally one kid in our high school, in our district, commits suicide. And I wanted to stop that. So I went to my high school, and I read this poem about not committing suicide, not having teen depression. And I knew this was going to work because going to high school, normally you would think that the high schoolers aren't going to listen to you because you're a little kid. But it's actually the complete opposite, because they view themselves as a role model to us. And if it's a teacher talking, it's another lecture, which they don't want to hear. And so the result of this poem was an English teacher writing back, saying that her whole class was in tears, and she was too. So I knew that effect had gotten out. And now my idea to, and I wonder if you can help me, is to try to have, my main idea is to start a nonprofit where kids who are younger in elementary school, middle school, go to their high schools and talk about motivational things like not being racist, not doing bullying, environmentalist things.
Wow, I love that. That is so cool and so grown up and so important. Well, first of all, can you? I love to see the poem. So if you can put that, if you can send that to my Facebook page, I'd love to post it for you or share it. If you can do that.
Yeah, I can send you the whole video that I did.
Yeah, I'd love to see that. I'd love to share that with everybody watching. I'm sure everybody would love to see that. That's very brave of you to and also a lot of insight to know that that's something that is necessary. We need a lot of help in our high schools. But I guess, the beautiful thing is that you have the means of communication right in front of you, which is Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and really just asking people. I think sometimes what people forget in selling, and I know this sounds, I don't mean to make this like a sell, but it is in a way. It's something when you have something that's necessary and you're trying to get on people's mind, trying to get on people's page with an idea. It is about a sell, and I think what people forget is to ask. And I think it's important for you to ask through all the social media between you, your sister, and all your friends to say, hey, I think this is important. I'm 11 years old. It's important to me. I've shared this poem, and I want you to share this with other people and other high schools. And we want to make a movement that gets people really sensitive about teenage depression or about bullying or all the different things that teenagers are facing. And I think we all need to get on board. And I think this video that I did and this poem that I'm sharing really does and can make a difference. Ask, can you share it? And then, and then again, a lot of times people they may come out and support that fact that you are. Listen, I think the best way to get to kids is by. I think kids can send kids messages. It's difficult. A lot of adults have lost I don't know why they haven't caught on, but it's amazing how many companies are being run that are trying to market to kids, And the people doing the marketing are 50, 40, 50, 60 years old. I mean, what the hell do we know about marketing to kids? It's been like 40 years since I've been a kid. It's been 45 years since I was 12. I mean, how do I remember what that's...
right there, Brandon, because that's exactly what I'm trying to do. Like, I'm trying to get these guys right now to be kid journalists and work with my own, like the travel companies I mentioned. They do so many things targeted to families, but they have no kid reporters. So, like, for example, Royal Caribbean, I've been trying to reach them, and Carnival and some of these cruise lines. They have all, like Carnival especially has these Saturday morning shows they're producing right now, but yet they have no kid hosts. So they're having the adults, going to all these fascinating destinations and talking about cool things for families, but yet there's no kids. So I've tried to approach them a couple of times that, here's a couple ambitious kids, get some other kids involved. Let's get some kids to be actually able to speak as at a kid's level. But it's hard sometimes to get society to understand that.
I think people are starting to catch on now, though. I think people are realizing that we got some real issues now with some of our teenagers that are different than issues we've had. We always have problems with our youth, with there being a gap between the younger ones and the older ones. I was a kid. There was a different set of problems, but I think that people are realizing some of these problems are escalating. Addiction being one of them, opioids another. Bullying has been going on been a hot topic the last few years. But let me ask you this question: when are you guys going to be in New York? Because I want to get you guys on this set in this office, and then maybe we could do some stuff where get you guys doing some journalistic stuff for Steiner. I mean, I'm really interested in really trying to find some kids to communicate some of our products. I mean, kids love our products, and a lot of our products, even at Steiner, are made and thought of for kids. But, we need to get you guys up here and maybe get you right in this studio and do a session with you guys about, what's really important, which is this poem and what's, and really trying to make a difference here with kids starting to care about each other and looking out for each other with depression and peer pressure, bullying, opioids, all those things. Love to get you up here in the studio if you're coming this way. And listen, I'll be the first to share your stuff. I'd love to go share that poem and that video and see if I can create a little bit of some traction for you. And I think the most important thing is...
Yeah, that would be great. We would love to go to New York and speak and advertise, because that's the kind of opportunities we love being exposed to. And also about what you were saying earlier about asking, this year we're taking a unique path. So we're doing not exactly homeschooling, but we're doing all of our classes online at home. So we're actually taking a Japanese class, because have you heard of the Japan whale hunt?
No.
It's where they kill whales in Japan for their meat, their
oil. Oh,
oil,
yes. Of course I've heard of that. Yes. Wow.
Yeah, and we feel like that's not very nice, so we're taking Japanese to go in Japan and get the youth involved, because we believe they're the next generation and they have a voice against what's happening, because they see their parents as fishermen and they don't really know what's happening. So we're trying to learn Japanese to go in Japan and educate them about what's actually happening.
I love that initiative too. I mean, I think it's important you pick a couple of these and I would try to stick with them and really try to get some traction and really try to create a movement. But, you have a voice out there, and it's a lot easier these days to get that voice out there. Communicate with me. Let me know what you want to do. I'm willing to share what you guys are up to. I love some of your initiatives, and if I can support these things in a bigger and better way, I will. I want you guys to keep up the good work. Love it.
Another thing is we love sports. We could be a sports
Another
journalist.
thing? I mean, do you kids sleep? I love it. Go ahead. Give me one more. One more thing. You guys are unbelievable.
So we
Amazing.
run 10 miles before we do a lot of sports. And I've gotten third place for girls 13 and under. And we love, running and just taking on challenges. So we would love to be sports journalists for speaking about the stuff going on here.
I love it. Well, let's plan something for maybe the spring. Maybe you come up, see Steiner. We'll get you to a Yankee game, do a live session with you guys in here. Maybe do a couple things for Steiner, talking about some of the products that you like, and let you do a little journalism.
That's great. That's great. They'd love to. Any opportunities, man, they're all on board, because that's what exactly we want to do. And, we want to grow that for other kids, too, especially in the inner cities. We're in Flint, Michigan, and, Flint is an amazing city, but, obviously the water crisis and there's been violence here and so on. And we need like opportunities to reach out to kids in these areas as well and give them that confidence. I mean, that's the bigger thing. I always tell my kids, it's not about you guys, it's about what you do for other people and inspire them, because we've got so many kids who fall through the cracks, and if only we can reach them and they get these kind of opportunities, I mean, their full potential will be reached. So let's try to figure that out too, and my kids will be glad to work with you in any way.
Well, thank you. I love that you're pushing your kids at 10 and 11 and 12. I love it because I think you can. And I can see the enthusiasm and excitement in your kids' voices. I mean, it's beautiful. And I think that parents sometimes get a little bit nervous and a little bit tentative about pushing their kids. And why not? I mean, as long as it's with good intent and not too hard. But you can push your kids a little bit. It's okay. You'd be surprised how far kids these days can go and how far they can take things, how interested they can get into things if given the opportunity. And it doesn't take a lot of money either. Good for you, man. Great call. Thank you for the call. Please keep in touch. Please message me the information. I'll send you guys some books and some paraphernalia and some stuff. But also, let's talk about getting you up to New York. I'll get some tickets for you for a Yankee game and get you guys into the studio. Keep up the good work.
Appreciate it.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it, Brandon. Thank you so much. And I sent Jack a couple links so you can take a look at their background and links. We definitely look forward to staying in touch. Keep up your great work and inspiring everybody. Great job you're doing.
Well, thank you. Appreciate you. I appreciate you watching and listening in. We're loving it here and love what your kids are doing, man. Good for you. Good for you.
Thank you so much.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
You're welcome. Have a great day.
Sure, you too. Bye-bye.
They're awesome.
Yeah, they were awesome. I mean, I know if I was homeschooled, I mean, I know my free throw shooting percentage would be up. I'd be in the schoolyard playing ball, but I know I couldn't be disciplined enough. I mean, I don't know if that's for everybody, but those kids seem like they're on a track. I know I'm going to I probably going to have to save this tape because like 10 years from now, like one of those kids is going to be running for president of the United States or running for governor or running some company. There's no question. Those kids are on a track to success. And there's nothing wrong with that as long as the kids are enjoying it. I'm like, you're a little bit of a weird kid.
Yeah, I
Jess,
mean,
right? You're not a normal
every
kid.
No.
Saturday night at 11 o'clock, you're texting me. We're going over Twitter stuff. I said, aren't you out with your friends drinking? No.
Most of the time, no. Most of the time we're doing
Oh,
stuff.
but sometimes you are out drinking with your friends.
No.
Don't answer that.
No, almost all the
Hey,
time.
rule
doing stuff
number
with you.
one, when it comes to just because someone asks you a question doesn't mean you have to answer it. I'm not saying
Just
lie.
stay silent?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. If somebody asks you an incriminating question, it's like, it's illegal for. How old are you? 17.
17.
Yeah, it's illegal for you to drink.
Yeah,
You
of
don't
course not.
incriminate yourself.
Of course not.
Wait, at least wait till you get to college. Anyway, we're taking some more questions. Gus got a few more minutes. We'll take a few more of your questions. Thanks for tuning in. Like, share. Love to see your feedback on the pod and the blog. There's about 38 pods, I think, to date. So love to see if you can kind of tune in on some of those or review them. Let me know what you think.
73, yeah.
There's 73 pods. I've lost track. As you can see, I have a lot of issues. And keeping track of all the pods and interviews we've done is one of them. Ben does that. Jesse keeps me on track with Instagram and Twitter. And we're keeping in touch with you on all levels. So please, I love hearing from you. Good, bad, and indifferent. Don't mind hearing the negative, too. If something happens, something you think that you disagree with, I love hearing from you. A couple other questions?
Yeah, we got tons of other
All right,
questions.
a few other questions. Love that you guys are interacting. Thank you for joining us. And let's bang out a few more questions.
Quick pivot to Syracuse. Jackie Moore wanted to know.
How about those Orange, huh? How about those Terps? Am I hearing from my boy Ben about what happened to those Terps the other night? No. He hid. He stayed away. He knew. He knew what went down. He knew what my team did to him. Although the big redhead, man, he was dropping threes, man.
Kevin Herter, he's a very good player.
He was
Woo!
crazy. He was like
He
7
should have
for
gone
9.
to Syracuse, though. Went to Albany. I don't know what he was doing going to Maryland.
He was like 7 for 9 from 3. He was killing it.
Come on. How about those Orange men? Let's go.
So that's
Getting all fired up.
That's the answer to Jackie's question.
I'm trying to figure out who's on that team. I'm trying to get comfortable with that new team. That's why Coach Boeheim is one of the greats. Because he can take that chaos and people leave and this and that, but he always manages to be competitive. You could take some of these names that aren't even big names and really get them all in sync. And that's what you saw the other night.
Because I remember from the preseason, everyone was freaking out, and you were like, I believe in Coach Boeheim. When we were up there and we saw practice, you were like, they're going to do it.
Exactly. I believe in Coach B. I've been saying it all summer, and even Coach B says, I don't know. I'm not sure. My coach, please. Come on. I've been with you for 30. Wow. I've been with you for 40 years, Coach. Now, granted, I haven't seen all your wins, but a lot of them. 77 to 2017, I'm watching Coach Boeheim coach my favorite team. And I know every season one thing. We're going to be competitive. We're going to win. And it's going to be fun watching that team. And that's exactly what he delivers, even in a so-called potential down year. I'm not sure what's going to happen with this team. I'm not here to predict it. But I know with Coach B, he is going to bring competition to a level that our team is going to have fun. And somehow we always end up around 20 wins. The guy's one of the best of all time, and that's why he has over 1,000 wins. That's right, over 1,000. I said it. I gave him back the wins. Unfortunately, I didn't have enough credibility to officially give him back all the wins that they took away, which was, I'm not even going to get on that rant, but in my mind, he's got over 1,000 wins, and I'm sticking with that story. That's it. I'm not going anywhere. Go Cuse. Ben, I haven't heard much from you this week. I thought I'd maybe get an orange on my desk. I figured a little love.
Quick text.
Not after the loss.
He was a little upset.
It was a good game. It was a good game.
I tell you, though, they played well.
It was a great game.
It was a good game. It was fun. It was a fun game.
A lot of people are saying Syracuse young team too. So next couple
got
of years
a big Syracuse following, huh? Let's come. Really, you like? I mean, the
people are
football
hyped
team was
up.
a little disappointing. I got to tell you, I thought we were going to do a little better. I'm hoping that this is just a slight setback into what I'm hoping is progress. I'm another fan of that coach as well. I think Dino's a good coach. Hopefully, he'll figure it out.
So yeah, we got a lot of people saying Ty Spattle's playing great, young team for the next couple of years. In addition for that, sort of pivoting back to business, Dave Blair wanted to know what is.
By the way, we're getting DeJuan Coleman on this show in a couple weeks. Where do you see the product he's working on?
He's got a great one.
I'm not going to tell you, but this guy, the big man, I love DeJuan, New York City kid. He's got a phenomenal product. We met with him last week. We're going to have him on the show in a couple weeks. DeJuan Coleman at Syracuse. Big man. He's got a big idea. I love this idea. I rarely say this. I told him I'm ready to invest in the idea. That's how cool his product is. Love it. We're teasing it. You're going to have to tune in to find out, but watch for the alert when DeJuan comes in live in studio. He'll be back in a couple weeks.
So, question from Dave Blair: what would be your number one piece of advice that would be your key to success?
So many. I mean, so many keys to success. I mean, certainly being hard work, and I think that I don't think relentless. Being relentless, I think, is underrated. I think a lot of people don't talk about what it takes to just be relentless and persistent about what you're trying to go after when you have an idea on your mind. Time management critical too. You only get so much time on this planet, and you got to use it wisely. People say, be quick, don't rush. I say, if you got a really good idea, you may want to get on with it because we're not here for that long. So if you're sitting with an idea and your story is, well, be patient, let's wait, let's see, change your story. I think it's really important to be relentless and get in the relentless pursuit of seeing your idea come through. And I think that's kind of what it's been for me. I've never been an overly patient person. I'm not afraid to not sit back a little bit, but I don't want to wait forever. I don't get caught up in, well, I'm thinking, I'm planning, I'm strategizing. I like to go after it. I like to go get it. And I think it's important if you're out there and you're sitting with an idea, go after it. Go get it. I mean, what do you have to lose? A couple other questions and we'll end it.
Yeah. I'm not sure if we have any more calls, but we have a couple
Ben,
more.
we're good on the calls? Or? We can take another one if you want. All right, we got one more call in us. We'll take a couple more questions. We'll call it a day. It's an exciting time, and it's really important if you're out there, you're an entrepreneur, is to walk the malls, shop, go on a lot of websites, see what's going on, see where markets are going, see what's selling, see what is moving people. Get on Amazon, get on Google, go into malls, no matter how busy it is, without an agenda, and see what people are doing and thinking, how they're paying, what they're expecting, what kind of discounts. I mean, it's so important to get the pulse of what's going on in addition to what you have going on. It's so important to get out there and kind of feel what's going on. And I try to walk department stores and malls as much as I can, shop as much as I can, and see the levels of service inclining, declining, and everything else. Just a quick suggestion out there for young entrepreneurs. Yeah.
A lot of questions on Yankees. People are saying, what do you think in terms of how they're going right now? Do you think it's going to be where do you think they're at in terms of manager and stuff like that?
Hey, if you're a Yankee fan, the only thing you have to do right now is make sure you got your tickets secured. Okay? That's all you got to do because it's going to be a lot of fun. And you're about to watch a lot of babies and a lot of young kids grow up. There's more talent than what we saw last year down on the farm. You'll see some of that pop up. I think the Yankees have a great game plan, and I'm just trying to secure the amount of nights I could probably get to the stadium this year to watch what's going to be a lot of fun. And I say fun, and I mean it. I mean, it's fun watching young, youthful baseball. It's just fun. The mistakes they make and how things kind of come together, which is what I hope will be on a good run. You want to win. You want to win World Series and championships. But the process, watching a team come together and some of these characters where these really young kids come together, that's all you got to worry about is how many games you're going to and can you get some kind of season ticket, season package, but you're better off getting it now. I'm just saying because it will be a very tough ticket this year. It's not going to be an easy ticket like it's been maybe in the past few years, although last year was a pretty good ticket. These next few years are not a gimme ticket. That stadium was really full last year, and I anticipate it being even more full right along with the expectations. That stadium will be full, and there'll be a lot to watch, and it'll be coming from a lot of different directions. That's what I'm looking forward to. It was a lot of Judge and certainly a lot of Sanchez. It's going to be a lot of a bunch of things this year. I mean, Greg Burt is going to be an amazing player. Castro, we have still not seen his best day. Didi is a conversation now. You go to a game to watch Didi in the field at bat. He does cool things. He's a really good player. I don't think we've seen Clint Frazier, what he could bring to the table. We got a guy named Chance Adams. I'm hoping maybe we'll be up. I mean, there's a lot of cool things. If you're a Yankee fan, don't start sending me these questions. Just get some tickets and go enjoy yourself because it's going to be a great run.
We got another question. He didn't pick up his phone, but this is from David. He's a freshman in college, and he's looking to go into social media, and he's started to grow his own following outside of his schooling. But what would you recommend to him to do over the course of these next couple of years in school in order to hone his skills and hone what he's doing?
Well, I'm going to answer part of it, Ben. You have to answer the other question. The first thing I would say is I love that you're building a social media and you love social media, but I'm still a fan of taking that interest and that degree and combining it with a business degree. Because, the business part of social media is still important and how to make money and how to run a potential part of a business from an accounting or finance standpoint will still be vital. But, Ben, what do you recommend? Because you're a social media guru.
Yeah, I mean, for him, he says he's really interested in hockey. So I would say to pay attention to all the hockey teams that are out there, all the hockey blogs, focus on the types of content that they're creating, and do that
create
for
your
yourself.
own pages.
Right, do that for yourself.
You got to create several different
experiment.
pages with several different names, constantly posting highlights, trying to get different quotes and comments and videos of different hockey players and really build up those platforms. But I still love getting in the classroom. If you're in college, be in college and do the college things, which is growing up. But also, if you can go combine all that social media stuff with a business degree, you could be a lot more electric. But I like the platforms. The kids that I've seen do really well with social media businesses that they're starting at really young ages are ones that have created all these different platforms and built them out by putting out consistent content, creative content, and have gone really deep and far to go get the content.
David, who's the one who had that question, said his phone didn't go off. So if we wanted to get him back on the phone, we could call him up.
What do you think of that answer? I think Dave, you blew it. I mean, we're not getting you on the phone now. I mean, first of all, what school did you go to? And secondly, don't take the easy way out. Get the dual degree. Get the dual degree. Go get the business degree and work it. Okay, I'm assuming if your school has a hockey team, I'm sure you're right in the inside of it, getting all the insight and making sure you get as much insight and everything you can. And then any way you can go get content and create these different platforms is really how you can build a platform.
Yeah,
Right?
I agree.
I mean, hence we're building a platform here right now with entrepreneurism and sales and motivation. And listen, we're starting off just like you're starting off, trying to build some different platforms besides the Steiner Sports platform and a couple other platforms we have at Steiner. And we're going through all the trials and tribulations of trying to post as much content and information for people that are interested in this platform as they can. And hopefully people are enjoying that and sharing it and everything else.
Cool.
I know last question before we start to wrap up. What do you think about the Knicks right now? Michael asked, do you think Porzingis will eventually bring New York a ring?
I don't know, man. We're 10-10. Let's just hold on. Let's just hold the phone right now. New Yorkers are crazy about their basketball, though. I'm a basketball junkie and a lot of pressure, to always win. But it's going to be a process. But the team's young and they'll be good and they'll be bad. Porzingis is a stud. and hopefully he'll get some help coming. And some of these other players that are playing with him will keep growing, and we'll have a good team over the next few years. You know, there's a little bit, you can feel a little changing of the guard. You know, you can see LeBron maybe, I hate to say this, but he's still the greatest in the world, but maybe he's now moving on the other side of it. And maybe there's some room for some new sheriffs to come in town and take over, which opens up the doors for some other teams. Yeah, exactly.
Because you're still on the West, you're going to have some trouble.
Hey, all you fans out there, thank you for joining. Really appreciate it. Love hearing from you. Keep the questions coming, because sometimes we'll try to answer them later on at night. And we'll always try to, you know, the people that ask questions and share and like, we always try to gift you and send gift cards and everything else. So we really appreciate that. If you're on Instagram, Twitter, if you're on my blog, share it, like it. We got time for one or two more. We're going to end it.
You got any more there, Jesse?
You got anything else?
We got a couple other questions.
Two more. We'll end it on two more on a positive note.
Yeah. How much of does most of the memorabilia sales and stuff like that come towards the holidays? What's it like in terms of the business side and around the holidays?
It's always busy. I mean, I've always looked at the collectibles as a gift, as much as a collectible thing. So our business is 12 months. I mean, we're pretty steady most of the year. We have a big uptick in December because people like to give these collectibles as gifts. By the way, it's been some great specials. If you're watching on the website, if you want to steal some stuff, there's still a couple of days left of it. Just go to the website, subscribe, and besides being 30, 40 off, there's some really special deals. Ben, how do you get those deals, though, if you want to get the special packages that we're offering and stuff?
Yeah, so if they just go to the homepage, go to SteinerSports.com, there's a banner where you can access everything. There's the 40% off just for the rest of today only, and then there's deals that are going to be rolling
out. There's a bunch of stuff that listen, I know some of the stuff can get really expensive, but you could pick up some really cool stuff under $100. Really cool stuff. Good gift for dads and grads and everything else. Last question?
Last one is
Eli, love you, baby. Let's keep the faith. If you're an Eli fan, I need to hear you out there. Tell me why you're the biggest Eli fan. If you're out there, you're a Giant fan, you're an Eli fan, I need to know why you love this guy, why he's important to you, and we'll be giving away an autographed 8x10 of Eli Manning. So please, let me hear your thoughts and prayers for Eli. Not that he needs the prayers, because he's going to be fine, but anyway, we're thinking about Eli. Love this trophy. Don't you love this trophy? 2 of them. 2. 4 if you're a Giant
fan. So one last question is, what aspect of starting the business was sort of relied upon on getting relationships with the athletes? How important was that starting out?
It's everything.
And continues to be.
It's everything. And it's one of the more difficult things, especially in this day and age. And not only with athletes, but it's difficult developing relationships in general, because there's just much less contact, much phone calls, less meetings, less time to meet people. So, you know, getting to conferences, trade shows, and getting active, my son says it all the time. You can't put a price on meeting people. You're in college, high school, don't wait. You can't meet enough people. I think high school and college is even more of a reason to get more involved in school, more of a reason to go to college, because there's so much time you're spending meeting people and getting opportunity to build relationships with people that are going in the same direction at the same age. Relationships are everything. 2 most important aspects of your life: communication and relationships. Most important part of every relationship is trust and communication. So when you have relationships, it's not only important to get new ones, but it's important to maintain and work at the ones you have. And that takes work and energy. Don't assume those relationships keep going on and on by themselves. And sometimes it means picking up a phone, dropping a handwritten note. That's a pen on a piece of paper. You send a note in the mail. There's usually a mailbox somewhere in your neighborhood. You put that in the mail and actually gets delivered to someone's house. A lot of young people out there have kind of lost track of that system. It's called the postal system. And people really like getting handwritten notes. It's not everything, because all communication is not equal. Sometimes a quick text, sometimes a quick tweet. I hear you. Just do it all. And it takes time. And that's how you grow relationships.
Last thing, for more of that advice, people are wondering where they can subscribe to the blog, how they can share it, because a lot of people are saying that they love the stuff they're seeing, and they want their friends to be able to subscribe as well.
Well, first of all, thank you, Ben. How do they share the blog? And you're on Facebook and like me on Facebook. You'll see the blog on Facebook. But then how do you get it on BrandonSteiner.com?
Yeah, you just go to BrandonSteiner.com/blog to access any of the articles. There's a subscribe
1,400 blogs.
Yeah.
1,400. I mean, there's a lot of blogs that talk about a lot of different things.
Yep. They just go to that page. There's a subscribe button right at the top, also at the bottom. They can just share any link with any of their friends.
Thank you. The sleeper is also the pods. If you go on the pods, how do you get to the pods? Go give a couple of those pods a listen. They're amazing. John Gray, Gary Vee. I mean, there's some really good pods, 78 of them. You should download those, especially this time of year if you're driving. Great to listen to. And appreciate if you could put a quick review on those as well. So like those, review them. How do you get to the pods, man?
So that if they go to your website, brandonsteiner.com, there's podcasts right at the top. That's where you can access every episode. Or if you go to Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, or wherever else you get your podcasts, Unplugged with Brandon Steiner.
Keep an eye out for me, man. All right, I'm going to be in Utah tomorrow doing a speech, which is going to be phenomenal. My man Randy Garn. I'm also going to be in Seattle over the weekend. Going to watch the Washington Huskies basketball game. Can't wait. Be in San Fran on Monday on a really special. You watch for the notification. Doing an interview with a business guru. Watch for the notification. Going to do an interview with a really, really smart, really, really good business person. That'll be Monday sometime during the day. All right. Have a great weekend. See you next week for another live episode of Project X. Take care, everybody. A lot of giveaways over the weekend, so keep an eye on the Facebook. We plan on taking care of all of our supporters with just different signed items, gifts, gift cards, and books, and everything else. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great day.